Part 2. Azure Moon. Blue Sea Moon. The Impregnable Fortress. When Claude steps down as its leader, the Leicester Alliance disbands, and its lords swear fealty to the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. The chaos in the kingdom begins to dissipate as the people unite under Dimitri's rule. Riding this momentum, the Kingdom Army prepares to march south for a decisive battle against Imperial forces.
What's going on? You didn't want to train? Well, I guess that's fine. Oh yeah, I can tell this is a good one. Come on, hand it over. Thanks. Huh? Whoa. Huh? I get it now. Huh? Whoa. I usually don't get hung up on things, but when I do, I feel stuck. Thanks for this, Professor. Don't you want to get some exercise, though? Come on, let's go train!
We will finally have our decisive battle with the Empire this month.
The Eastern Lords are in the process of consolidating all of the troops within the entire kingdom. There are still some lords in the West who side with the Empire, but I believe it is only a matter of time before they surrender.
Affairs within the kingdom have calmed down considerably, and we even managed to win over the Alliance.
Although it was a rough go at first, I'm starting to feel like we could actually win this.
That's true. Thinking back on it now, we've really come a long way.
We even have a lead as to where Rhea is located. It is as we predicted all along. If we are to rescue Rhea, then we must defeat the Emperor.
If we're going to march from the Monastery to Inbar, then we'll have to cross the Great Bridge of Murden again, right?
Yes, I believe so. As we have gained the Alliance's support, we should not have any trouble this time. After the bridge, we can cross Gronder Field and head south. And then we'll take Mercius, the so-called impregnable fortress that towers on the other side.
Fort Mercius is praised as the strongest in the Empire. Count Burgleys, the Empire's Minister of Military Affairs, once had troops stationed there. But according to our spies, a large-scale military force has entered the stronghold. Perhaps they are gathering soldiers from various regions to compensate for their losses.
If we try to avoid it, those troops will follow us and attack from the rear. It is best for us to handle the situation head-on. Once we take Fort Mercius, Enbar will be within reach. This is the Empire's last chance to stop us from arriving at our goal.
In other words, if we take this fort, then our blades will be at the Emperor's throat in no time.
If this is the last fort between us and them, then the Emperor will likely do everything she can to strengthen its defenses.
I just received a report on that very subject. The one commanding the troops stationed at Fort Merceus is someone we have crossed blades with many times. It is the Death Knight who awaits us there.
Oh, so that's who we'll be battling. Emil.
Right, right.
Hey you, listen up. I've got something to report. The Alliance is a thing of the past now. Times are changing fast these days. It's hard to keep up, even for me. I wonder if Abyss is on the verge of change too. Change leads to uncertainty, and uncertainty leads to... change? I don't know. I'm just a guard.
Everyone seems pumped about fighting the Empire at long last. Personally, I find it difficult to get excited about killing people, no matter what side they're on. I'm on yours. It's that simple. If you fought alongside the Imperial Army, so would I.
We need to mop up the mess in the kingdom quickly. My family lives in Fargus, as do my people. I want to avoid exposing them to danger. That's right. Those who work for me, and with me, they've entrusted their lives to me. They trust me. So for them, more than anything, I hope we can end this swiftly and give everyone the lives they deserve.
It's not that I don't sympathize with Lady Edelgard's goals, mind you, but perhaps not to the point of shedding blood for her ideals. Of course, but I've gone down a different road. Peace in Fodlan and a restored House Nouvelle shall be my guiding star as I blaze my own trail.
So, Claude abandoned the Alliance and ran off. I have a pretty good idea of where he went. Where anyone would go in his situation. Somewhere he belongs. Now, he must have gone there to do something he can't achieve in Fodlan. He may be gone, but he left his troubles behind. Now it's on us to clean up his mess.
So the Alliance is finished, is it? The leader's gone? That damn prince. Seems my role here is at an end. No matter. Should another chance present itself, I'll take a less subtle route.
We took quite the detour. It was time-consuming, but finally, we got the information we needed. We crush the Empire, we get Lady Rhea back. 2 birds, 1 stone. First, we take Fort Merceus. I'll put my heart in it. I'll crack him like a rusty helmet.
We defeated Lord Arundel. The Emperor must have been surprised. If we can keep up that fervor, perhaps we'll capture Fort Merceus and move on to the Imperial capital. We must not be overconfident, though. Yes, I concur. Humans and beasts are ultimately the same. When they're cornered, they lash out however they can. They fight for their lives. Who knows how the Emperor will lash out? We have to be careful.
Just as we suspected, Lady Rhea was taken to the Imperial capital. We must get to the capital as quickly as possible. So many people are worried sick about her. I do wonder when Claude managed to learn Lady Rhea's whereabouts. He's pretty shrewd. I can't help but admire him.
I wonder where Claude will go. From the sound of it, he's leaving Fodlan altogether. He was strangely gallant about the whole thing. Even left his relic behind. Elusive and mysterious to the end, isn't he?
Hello there. I've come here after getting chased out of the Empire. There's no place for our kind there anymore. But there are still many inside Empire territory who haven't abandoned their faith in the Church of Saros. I pray that one day we'll get the chance to rebuild the church within the Empire.
So Lady Rhea was in the Empire all this time. Wish I'd known that 5 years ago, but there's nothing we can do about it now. What we can do, though, is topple the Empire. Will you seize victory with us, Professor? For the sake of the late Captain!
Even in the kingdom, only a few people knew about His Highness and Edelgard's relationship. Me? I always knew those two to be like brother and sister. To think that we would come to see this world, where they are at war with one another. I live it, and can still barely imagine such a truth.
Well...
Professor.
So, we're finally invading Empire territory, huh? There's not much we can do right now, except pray for deliverance. I truly believe that we have it in us to succeed.
Fort Merceus is a keep that was constructed to defend the Imperial capital, Enbar. We cannot enter the capital without first capturing that fort. But once we have it, the city should be almost entirely at our mercy. Now that we know Rhea is there, we must move with the utmost urgency.
The Death Knight. I shudder to think of him. Professor, you remember my connection to him, do you not? I am still working through the trauma from back then. All these years later. If we meet him, I swear I will have my revenge.
Each step closer to Enbar, I'm reminded of another part of my past. Riches and poverty, glory and failure. That city has it all. And if I'm honest, sometimes I miss it. That's how the past works, though, isn't it? It's always a different story than what you really lived.
Fort Mercius is the Empire's single most fortified military installation. Utterly impregnable, they say. I wonder, do you happen to know the nickname given to Fort Mercius? Indeed, a very good answer. But of course, you'd know that. Seems Fodlans give everyone and everything a nickname. Why, you were called the Ashen Demon. Myself, I have been called the Father of Crestology, which is a nickname as well as a title, I suppose.
Professor. From this point onward, we're in all-out war with the Empire. Are you prepared, Professor? I'm glad to hear it. That means we can approach the coming battles with peace of mind. First, we capture Fort Mercius. The fighting will undoubtedly be brutal, but we must prevail. As far as this army and I are concerned, you're our last ray of hope. We are relying on you.
Claude has stepped down from leadership, and Leicester is now a vassal state of Fargus. The lords of the Western Kingdom are beginning to declare fealty to us in greater numbers also. The Empire is our only remaining enemy.
Something about Lord Arundel rubbed me the wrong way. There was something off about him.
Not that I've ever heard anything good about him. Have you ever heard of the Harim family?
Correct. Their lands are due south of the Ordelia territory. Since Edelgard's rule, Lord Arundel had been governing the territory. It seems like his reign was particularly cruel. The people there suffered greatly under him. He seemed to be a good and just person at one point. It simply doesn't make sense. Okay.
The Archbishop has been taken to the Empire, just as we thought. But why hasn't Edelgard killed her yet? If she intended to use her as a hostage, she'd have publicly announced that she was unharmed. We don't know what the Emperor's intentions are. All we can do is fight on and pray the Archbishop is okay.
Doesn't matter how sturdy the keep. If the commander defending it is incompetent, it can fall as easy as anything. That's what they say, at least. I wonder if that applies to Fort Mercius. All I know is, if I was the Emperor, I'd never in a million years assign an incompetent commander to a fort as important as that one.
Hi. Death Knight. Going to fight the Death Knight. To be perfectly honest, I am.
Here's an idea.
Professor? Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report.
Is it true that we'll be assaulting Fort Mercius next? That doesn't sound like the brightest idea. I've heard that it's built to withstand an attack from even the largest of armies. And not to tell you how to do your job, but don't do it. I'm not ready to say my final goodbyes to everyone.
The Alliance is just gone. It's hard to believe. The merchants of Deirdre all have nerves of steel. I'm sure they'll be up and running again in no time.
Professor? You know, Professor, laying siege to a keep is like asking a girl out on a date. First, you get past her defenses, then you make your move. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I'm a seasoned veteran at this kind of thing. Girls, I mean. I've never actually, captured any keeps. Anyway, I figure you go after the main gate. You take that out, and I'm sure we can win. Of course, you're making the tactical calls. I'm happier to follow than to lead.
Definitely. I traveled to Kingdom territory because I was nearby. I did some good business. Apparently, supplies are needed to reconstruct the Kingdom capital and the surrounding towns. I wonder where I should go next. Here's an idea.
What?
That reminds me.
Professor! Fort Mercius is next, huh? Ah, the memories. It's a huge stronghold in my father's domain. The town's completely surrounded by high walls. I used to run around there when I was a kid. Way back when a fortress was just a playground for me. Yeah, those were the days.
How's this? Weren't the Kingdom and Alliance once part of the same country? If you think about it that way, it makes sense for them to unite. I suppose the Kingdom was once part of the Empire as well. Even if Fodlan came together, I wouldn't be surprised if it fell apart again.
I was thinking, have you heard of the Crescent Moon War? That's when the Alliance won their independence from the Kingdom. Some 300 years ago, the ruling Duke of Leicester died without an heir, and the lords with blood ties to House Blythen took that chance to propose ruling the Leicester territory as a republic. The head of House Regan led the Leicester lords and fought fiercely with Farkas. They won independence from the Kingdom. And now, here we are.
Here's an idea.
Oh my.
The Alliance has really been disbanded? I never thought such a thing could happen. As long as it doesn't negatively impact our lives, I don't care much whether we're the Kingdom or the Alliance.
With the Empire destroyed, the borders within Fodlan will likely become a thing of the past. With that, the rules of trade will change. Personally, I'm excited to see what these changes will bring.
Let's see. Is it true Lady Rhea was taken to the Empire? Why'd they take Lady Rhea? Professor, they didn't take her to kill her, did they? That's good. We just gotta beat the Imperial Army and get her back, right? You gotta help her, Professor. I'm begging you.
Professor! We're finally going to attack the Empire? I'm actually getting a little nervous. Please defeat the Emperor and save Lady Rhea. I'll be waiting here with all of the necessary preparations for a huge celebration. Maybe. Professor!
Professor, good timing. You have to talk some sense into my father. Recently, he's been doing nothing but work himself to the bone. Even when he's taking breaks from training and errands, he's apparently listening to reports, day in and day out. He's getting on in years, you know? I just want him to take care of himself.
I love a good fortress. The perfect place to hide. This one's impregnable too, isn't it? Perfect! As soon as we take it, I'll set up a special spot for Bernie. I guess you have a point. What would you call it then? A little pregnable? Right. Really?
Let's see. My family made it through the conflict unscathed. Thank the goddess. It seems that Deirdre was the only place to really get caught up in the fighting. Did Claude intend to spare the Alliance territories from harm? If so, he's a truly admirable leader. Speaking of Claude, I wonder where he is.
The Leicester Alliance is no more. 300 years of history, gone and done. They write operas about events like this, you know? I'm sure they'll have a talented and beautiful songstress playing you. And with Dimitri at your side, well, they'll probably contrive some kind of romance to keep things interesting.
May I discuss something with you? I promised to help you find the truth of who you are, but I'm afraid it's not that simple. There are some details I have kept concealed. 5 years ago, before she vanished, I asked Rhea some pointed questions. I learned that she knows everything about you. No, that is understating it. Rhea is responsible for your existence. I could explain to you here and now what fragments of knowledge I was able to pry from Rhea. I fear, however, that a partial understanding might do you more harm than good. Once we save Rhea, you will know the whole of it. For now, that is all I can tell you. If you are still uncertain about your feelings, then permit me to add one more thing. You, Rhea, and I, we are like family. Because of those deep ties, you can be certain that I will never abandon or betray you. On the contrary, I greatly wish to see what your future holds. I am, and will always be, your ally. You are not wrong. History is full of examples. I don't believe that will be the case here, but I suppose all I can do is ask for your trust. The truth is, you have become indispensable to me. And that is true quite independently of whether I see eye to eye with Rhea, or even whether we are friends. After this war is over, where I go and what I do will depend wholly on you. I am still trying to figure that out myself. Perhaps it is just that I find you so fascinating that I cannot bring myself to leave your side. I dislike a one-sided conversation, but in this case, I am afraid I had no choice. Our future is yours to determine.
Even this town, which was a ruin, has begun to recover its energy. However, acquiring supplies is still difficult. The people living here are struggling too. This conflict must be brought to an end soon. Yes, let us seize victory together and build a new, more peaceful world. Still, I wonder what path my life should follow once we achieve our goals. That has been my intent. But surely my daughter Annette must have her own path to follow. Perhaps she would be happier if our paths diverged. Of course, if she desires it, I will gladly return. But if she does not, I wonder if I should ask my wife to join me here, to live out our days together at the monastery. That would not be so bad a choice either. Perhaps it is the fault of last night's drink that I am indulging in such dreams of the future today. Yes, I've learned there is strength in focusing clearly on tomorrow and allowing yesterday to be done.
Hey! It's the old fishing guy! Hi there!
A short time ago, I instructed these children in the art of fishing.
Thanks to you, we caught a really, really big fish in the river nearby.
Is that right? Be sure you share it with your families now.
We will!
I did say something about that once, didn't I? I even told you to forget you ever saw me smile. But now, I would not ask that of you. Your words from when last we spoke have stayed with me. They bring to mind the king I first served. He told me not to dwell upon the dead. The dead are dead, and those who live are not bound by them. I intend to live my own life from now on. You have a fine smile as well. One that I could never have imagined when we first met. No matter how our titles or positions change, I hope you will always remain yourself, Professor.
What's wrong, Dmitri? Your swordplay is oddly sluggish today.
Sorry.
If you were hungry, I'd get you something to eat. That's not the problem, though, it seems. It's not much fun fighting you when you're so far below your usual standards.
Do not worry. I will be myself again in a moment.
Are you worried about something? Tell me.
This war. Once it is over, I will have to go back to the capital, and you will remain here as a Knight of Ceros.
Yes, if we're both still alive.
When that happens, there will not be many chances for us to have these little duels of ours, will there?
I suppose not. Garrigmach and Ferdiad are quite far apart.
It will be hard to get by without them. I've grown very fond of these sessions.
Wow, you sure know how to draw out a conversation. Just say what's on your mind.
Please, return to the capital with me.
That's it? Return to the capital, just like that, with no explanation?
You were the one who told me to speak frankly.
Yes, I've also told you that I'm devoted to the Knights of Ceros and wouldn't dream of leaving. It'd be one thing if you were asking me to return to my family. Why summon me to the capital?
I just want to be near you.
Oh, please. Don't waste your romantic words on me. Save them for a girl you really like.
I was just saying what I felt.
Is that so? I never imagined that brat with the silly haircut would try to woo me someday.
Do you really still see me as that young prince?
You take yourself too seriously. But you're not selfish, even if you are a bit greedy with your sword. They do say you can tell who a person really is from the way they wield their sword. Maybe it's true. I'll think about coming back to the capital, okay? Someday. But as for now, don't you have something more important to worry about?
Yes, I do.
Stop getting distracted by trivialities. Focus on what actually matters. We'll have plenty of time to flirt when the war's over.
Happy, I must speak with you. I've realized the woman who held you captive was Cornelia herself.
Oh, yeah. Good on you for figuring it out. You're a little late, though, considering she's dead. How are you feeling about what she said, by the way? You seemed pretty upset at the time. It couldn't have been easy to hear all that stuff about your stepmother and the tragedy of Dusker.
Whether Cornelia's words prove true or false, any lead is worth following.
This might not be related, but I remembered something else about your stepmother. She had a daughter. Her daughter was staying in the kingdom at one point, but Anselma couldn't see her.
Her daughter. Neither my father nor I knew that the Imperial Princess was in Ferdiad at the time.
Oh, that's not what I heard. I heard the king wanted to keep the child away from Anselma, so he hid the fact that their daughter was nearby.
She believed that father hid it from her? What could he have gained from such a thing?
No clue. Sorry, but I'm the wrong person to ask.
As she was seeking asylum from the Empire in the kingdom, Lord Arundel was obligated to hide the Imperial Princess's whereabouts. If her location had gone public, the Empire would have demanded her return. She would undoubtedly have become a political pawn in the kingdom as well. The decision to hide her was not my father's. I did not realize until much later that the girl I'd met under such strange circumstances was my stepsister.
So then, why did Anselma think it was all your father's doing?
I can only speculate, but it seems there was a misunderstanding between her and my father. Although she was the queen consort, in truth, my father and stepmother were not even allowed the dignity of being alone together. And the one who persistently inserted herself between them was their intermediary. Your captor. It was Cornelia herself.
She hid it from Anselma.
I believe so. Meanwhile, she may have hidden my stepmother's presence from Lord Arundel as well. If Cornelia caused my stepmother to miss out on seeing them, exhorted her, used her, and then also caused the tragedy...
I'm surprised she pulled one over on both of them. She was pretty reckless. But in a way, it makes sense. She loved causing pain. That's why she used me and discarded me without a second thought.
I fully agree. Countless people have been subjected to undue suffering as a result of her behavior. That is why I would like your help with something, if that's agreeable to you. You are my only hope.
If you put it like that, I can't exactly say no, can I?
I wish to learn all that you know about Cornelia. If I follow the traces she left behind, perhaps I can finally learn the truth of the tragedy. And perhaps I'll also be able to find a way to lift the curse she placed upon you.
Oh, that would be nice. The people from the church couldn't figure out a solution, so I won't get my hopes up.
That is perhaps for the best. That said, I am a stubborn man who is not often inclined to give up. I will not allow history to repeat itself, neither the tragedy, nor your own personal torments.
If you're going to be so intense about this, I can't help but get my hopes up. But it's not always easy having me by your side. You always need to be on guard.
You have my word. Should 1,000 beasts raise their claws at me, I will happily send them running.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Dee Dee. Though it might be kind of fun watching you tear those monsters to shreds.
Yum. So delicious. I'm so content in this moment. Felix!
Lysithea, you look mortified.
How long have you been there? Were you watching me? You were, weren't you?
I was, yes.
For once, I thought I had some privacy.
Did you say something?
Huh? Nope. Didn't say anything at all. Here,
What's this for?
I'm buying your silence. With cake. Take it.
I'm not sure what to be silent about.
If people knew I was shoveling cake into my face by the fistful, they'd think me nothing more than a child.
Adults eat cake.
You'll never understand. Just take this, will you?
No, I don't like sweets.
Does your refusal mean you'll be telling everyone about my cake shoveling ways?
I just don't like sweets, that's all.
Nonsense! Nobody can resist something so delicious. Look, I'm giving you this cake whether you like it or not. Eat it, toss it, throw it at an unsuspecting victim. The choice is yours. Just please don't mention this to anyone.
What was her problem? And what am I supposed to do with this cake?
Go on, eat up. Oh wow, you're really going at it.
Still hungry, huh? You're a greedy little fellow.
Oh, here he comes, right on time. The food's all ready to go. Huh? Ash, what are you doing here?
Caspar, I was just, Hey, hang on a second. Did you come here to feed the cat too?
Feed? Oh, I don't know what you're... Wait, did you say two? Is that what you're doing?
I have been for a while. I had no idea you were doing the same.
I was just worried about the guy. I didn't want someone else to find him and hurt him. I figured it would be best to watch out for him. You know me, defender of the helpless. More importantly, though, what's your excuse?
I didn't want him stealing more supplies, so I figured I'd take care of him. Guess we're not so different after all, are we?
Yeah, I guess we're not. Deep down.
Since you're here, why don't you feed this little guy what you brought him?
Oh, yeah! I've got something good.
Looks like it. Hey, where did you get that?
Get what?
It looks awfully fresh. You didn't take that from the kitchen, did you?
Is that some dried fish and vegetables? Looks like someone's leftovers.
Well, never mind how I got mine. What about yours?
I'm a defender of the helpless. You really think I'd steal some food for a cat? I got it by fighting an old guy in the dining hall. I won it fair and square.
You started a fight over that?
No! The old guy started a fight, then I took his dinner as a prize. Aw, you love this meat, don't you? And you love when I fight, don't you?
Well, this cat's happy, so I'll let you off easy just this once. You're lucky he's so cute.
Hey, Catherine. I wanted to tell you I've decided to do things my own way.
I'm happy for you, Caspar, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Come on, you know, in life and death situations like we talked about. I spent a lot of time thinking, but it was tough to figure out. Then I realized I was wasting my time. I decided I should keep fighting the way that feels right to me.
I thought that might be your decision.
I've still got something important to ask you, though.
Something important, huh? Let's hear it.
Could you, keep an eye on me?
What? Why?
I may have decided to do things my own way, but I'm sure I'll still mess up sometimes. I might be able to avoid any real damage if a Knight of Saros has my back.
I see. Then I refuse.
Oh, great. Thanks so much. I knew you'd... What?
After deciding to take your own path, you ask someone else to watch over you? It's like you can't think for yourself. Your simple-mindedness is kind of charming, but still.
I really thought you'd say yes. Now what am I supposed to do?
I don't know. I'm not your babysitter. You want someone to watch after you? Become the type of man people can't look away from.